Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Rotary Club of Hudson edition. Let's see, what's today? Yeah, today is September 24th, 2025. Yeah, let's just go with that. I think it's pretty good on the record. Welcome to our club. Lots of bright, shiny faces there. We have one guest this morning, Cindy Camp. I'm glad to have her. Be nice to our guests. Okay, I'm gonna ask Gail to come on up and lead us in our invocation this morning. She's a little come on, get some. She blew in Texas last night, boy, her out of the tire.
Good morning, parents. Good morning, our guests. I want to do the invocation this morning. It says, as we gather here today as members of Rotary, we pray that we are ever mindful of opportunities to render our services to fellow citizens and to our community. Keeping in mind always to endure battles of life, exerting our efforts in those areas and to those things upon which our future generations can build with confidence. Let us continue to strive to make a better world. Amen.
Amen. Well, you want to do the four-way test too? All right, I'll do the four-way test. All right. Oh, I'm sorry. Pledge of allegiance. Let's start with that. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And the four-way test of the things we think, say, and do. First, is it the truth? Second, fair to all concerned. Third, will it benefit? And fourth, will it be beneficial to all concerned? All right, choke here. And I think that's it for me. Please come on up and get us going, okay?
Hey, good morning, everybody.
I have a speaker in November that wants to send in a PowerPoint presentation. Can I have your email address?
Yeah, it's let me see.
Yeah.
Hospital. So, if we could all just take a moment to maybe send them a prayer or a thought or keep them,
Just Rotary.
Let me take a picture of it.
Recovery. I'll give you more information through me, I'm sure, as to this recovery and so forth, but let's keep Bill in mind. So this has been
Rotary.
This goes to this computer.
That was this presentation today, and I would like to ask Marilyn.
Okay, you can validate and get back to him that you got it.
Yeah.
Come on up. Madeline's coming up too. So music, the Western Reeerve, wonderful program, something that I think we are looking at participating in on Sunday. So a great concept that's coming up and forward to. So I will turn it over to Marilyn.
Well, actually, I'm going to turn it over to our musical director who is with us via Zoom, Alex Marr. Are you on the Zoom?
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me?
Alex is beginning his third year of being our musical director. It helped us select him, and it was really an exciting process. He's a young guy. He's a real young guy, and I'll tell you, his command and knowledge of technology is incredible. He's also one of the most organized people I know, and I struggle to keep up, if you know what I mean. So but we're gonna let you address us at the very beginning here and tell us a bit about the upcoming season.
Thank you. Can everyone hear me?
Alex, we're not hearing you.
Hello, can everyone hear me?
Yeah, we're good.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for that introduction, Marilyn. My name is Alexandre Marr. I am the Executive Artistic Director of Music from the Western Reserve. Thank you so much for having me at the Hudson Rotary Club meeting this morning. I am here to tell you a little bit about our organization and the exciting opportunities that we have coming up this season. So for those of you who don't know about Music from the Western Reserve, we are a nonprofit that's about 40 years old, just a little over 40 years, in fact. We originated in Stan Hewitt Hall as a chamber music series in the music room of the Cyberlings. And if anyone has been to that property, you know how fabulous that music room is, filled with all sorts of gorgeous instruments. You can imagine the concerts that were held there back in the 80s when this organization was getting started. So we are now centrally located in residence at Christ Church Episcopal in Hudson, Ohio, which is where you guys come in. We're right downtown on the square. We use this gorgeous sanctuary space. If anyone has been to this church before, you might know that Christ Church Episcopal, the sanctuary space there, was acoustically designed by the same folks who renovated Severance Hall. So you know it sounds good. Now, the 25-26 season coming up has a ton of concert opportunities that I'd like to share. Let's see if I can share my screen with you all this morning. Marilyn, can you see this? Wonderful. Wonderful. So we are in our 43rd season, and I'll give you a quick summary of the concert opportunities we have. So first up, this Sunday, September 28th, we have pianist Theron Brown, who hails from Akron. He's a local jazz artist. He's also in residence at the University of Akron. He will be playing a free concert. This is the first time since I have been director here at Music from the Western Reserve that we are offering a free concert as our opening program. And Theron will be performing original works and jazz works. He will also be joined by vocalist Jaron LeGraire for a Gershwin set, piano and vocals. So this program is on September 28th at 5 p.m. You may know this, you may not, but before every one of our concerts, we have a 4:30 p.m. pre-concert talk where I moderate a conversation with the artist and myself, and we learn a little bit more about their career and the music they will perform that afternoon. Every one of our concerts is also followed by a complimentary reception, and this is included in the ticket price. We serve wine and we serve a variety of hors d'oeuvres. This is a wonderful opportunity to meet audience members and mingle with the artists themselves. Second on the series is October 26th, Music Cabaret. And music, of course, stands for something. This is another nonprofit organization, just like we are in Northeast Ohio. Music stands for Musical Upcoming Stars in the Classics. And this is a nonprofit based in Northeast Ohio, run by Miss Jody Cantor, with the mission of giving classical music students, very talented classical music students, I might add, performance opportunities and paid performance opportunities. This is a wonderful way for Jody to collaborate with the Cleveland Institute of Music, Baldwin Wallace, the Oberlin Conservatory, from which many of these students come. So we're really excited to be collaborating with another nonprofit this season. And to continue that collaboration, we also have Les Délices coming to us on November 23rd with a program about animals. So they are a Baroque chamber ensemble, and all of the music they will be playing on November 23rd has some sort of animal theme because the program is called Wild Things. Les Délices is also another nonprofit located here in the Northeast Ohio area run by Deborah Nagy. And you'll hear period instruments and all sorts of incredible sounds from long ago when you come to a Les Délices concert. They are experts at their craft. And we're so fortunate to continue a collaboration with them. This is now their third appearance at Music from the Western Reserve since I have been artistic director. Then on Sunday, February 22nd, cellist Brendan Phelps and myself on the piano will present a all Rachmaninoff cello and piano program centered around Rachmaninoff's very, very, very virtuosic and difficult cello sonata with piano. We're excited for this. This concert will also feature one of our very important initiatives. We call this the Young Artist Series, the Young Artist Feature. Music from the Western Reserve also has the mission of bringing young talent, even younger than Jodie Cantor's talent, to the stage for professional opportunities that show them that classical music and music in general can present a career opportunity. So last season, we had several students under the age of 15 present a trio program as the opening number at one of our programs. We had 9-year-olds performing for our audience, and these 9-year-olds were paid and performed at a very, very high level. We're excited about this program continuing in February. On March 29th, we have the renowned Chapel University, the Capital University Chapel Choir, led by Linda Hassler. This group is a group that I have collaborated with for a long time. Very renowned choir, and I don't believe they've ever performed in Northeast Ohio. We believe that this will be a highly attended event with local high schools, local choir directors wanting their students to join this program. You also might not know that students get in free at Music from the Western Reserve at every concert. So we're excited for this one as well. And finally, the last program of our concert season is Sunday, April 26th. And this is another nonprofit collaboration featuring Maxime Lando on the piano. Maxime was the bronze medalist for the most recent Cleveland International Piano Competition. We are lucky to have Dr. Linda McDonald on our board, who also serves on the board of Piano Cleveland. And this will be a wonderful way to wrap up the season. And our third collaboration with another nonprofit here in Northeast Ohio. So that is our season. Marilyn, would you like to tell everyone a little bit about the board recruitment opportunity we have coming up?
Well, we do. One of the things that we've noticed is that as a lot of boards, ours is growing a little bit older. And we're looking for volunteers to serve on the board as well. We've been pretty careful about who's been on our board in the past, and we've long had a connection with Rotary. In fact, Bill Woolrich, we were just talking about serving as treasurer of our board for many, many years. And Max Wendell was a member of our board. And I joined the board, quite frankly, because the previous musical director did a huge favor for me during the pandemic. The day before, I was scrambling to find a speaker, and he agreed to get up early and to come in and to do a presentation for us in 2020. It was marvelous. It was marvelous. His name was Zoltan Bognar, and a lot of what he talked about was a series that he runs in which he is doing podcasts and interviewing classical musicians about just their lives in general and some of the things that they face as musicians. You have to hustle if you're a musician, otherwise. And he later put out a call for volunteers. He needed someone to work in front desk. And I sent him a text and I said, it's all, you need to ask for widows. We don't have a whole lot going on Sunday afternoons. And so I came in and I wore my Rotary badge. This was the only thing that had my name on it. And honestly, it was a good way to talk to people in the community. I got to see a lot of friends and new friends. So the board is composed of about 9 people at this point. And it recently held even a family member, one of the founders of our board, Beth Rothman Rusnak, who doesn't even live in Ohio anymore. She is one of the 3 daughters of Bruce and Lola Rothman. I think you saw on the program that there is a concert that is sponsored by their family, named after their mother. Bruce was a pediatrician serving at our children's hospital, and Lola was a conservatory trained pianist. So classical music was really, really important to them. But one of the things that we're trying to do as a board is to shape these up just a little bit. And so you've seen some new initiatives that have come forward. And one of those, the free concert. This is the first time we had a concert series concert that was free. This doesn't mean this is the first time that we've had a free concert, because believe it or not, a couple of summers ago, Phil and John Tobin helped us create a free concert by bringing in the piano truck and had it perform on the green. Now that was, and actually what it was they hauled in a trailer, opened up the side, and here is the concert grand piano. And there were people who came and played for free for the community. The year after that, we sponsored a musical program at the library. And that was to announce our upcoming season in May. And we had all of the papers and everything, and we sponsored a subgroup of the Pop Squad. Now, of course, that concert was very, very well attended, and we got the microphone. So it gave us an opportunity to talk about music from the Western Reeerve. And that concert was sponsored by Tom Harvey, one of the members of our board. So, you know, there's been outreach into the community, and it's a very Hudson focused board. There's some things that we've done to kind of bring that focus back on Hudson. We're committed to staying at keeping music at Christchurch Episcopal. There's not a better performance space, I think, in our whole community. There's been really strong support from our community. Believe it or not, I think you saw the posters in the back that I've made, the collages of our meetings, our concerts. Those are taken by Tom Huey. Tom is a volunteer. For years, he's been simply showing up at our concerts and taking photos. And we're not the only place he does that. He also does it for Hudson Community Choir. Okay, I mean, he's just a civic-minded individual who's got a good funeral and some extra time. And he also been at the last two Rotary galas. All we did was feed him. And he provided some wonderful pictures for us. So we're taking advantage of some of those types of community things. We've also brought all of our printing back into Hudson. It was previously done in rural, and I thought we were maybe paying a little too much. And I sourced it with Printers Download, and they beat the price considerably. And it's so much easier to just run out, you know, behind, you know, the right here in town, pick up all our programs, and they do a great job. So, you know, I also wanted to put a shout out because our concert on Sunday was a radical idea from the board member, Michael Frank. Now, Michael's been to a Rotary meeting when we had the president of the Cleveland Ballet. We had the director of the Cleveland Ballet here to talk to our group. Michael's well known in our community, lives up on Hines Hill. He's had a long relationship with Hudson University. I see Sue Carter shaking her head, she knows it well. And he supports our community in many ways. And one of those is by being on our board. But when we had our meeting, our last meeting, before we were preparing to do all this publicity, he said, I have a radical idea. And everybody sitting on the table goes, all right, Michael, bring it on. And he said, I'd like to see this very first concert be a free concert. And let's just see what happens. Well, I'll tell you what's happened. We've got over 200 people who have signed up for our free tickets. Okay. And Michelle Tomasulo, who does our catering, is stepping up to play. And I'm bringing in my grandkids because honestly, we're going to need the help bus the tables. Okay. So, you know, the focus is on Hudson and keeping this as a community and neighborly event. We also want to give a shout out to the Congregation Church, because if you've ever been to Christ Episcopal Church, it doesn't have a big parking lot. The biggest parking lot, quite frankly, is next door at the Congregation Church. And they're allowing us to use their parking lot. The only event they have going that night is a middle school youth group, and all of those kids are dropped off. So they said, bring your people. How wonderful is that? That is really wonderful. So the collaborations that you've talked about have been absolutely key. And I mean, you've touched on them. I'd also like to address just a little bit about the young artists, because the very first young artist that I'm aware of was actually Chris Patrell, a high school junior, who we brought about 3 or 4 years ago, and Phil was at that concert. He's a trumpet player. And at the time that we engaged and first started talking about him, the only thing that I knew about him was that he had performed at St. Mary and some of our services and had done a really stellar job. What I didn't know is that his mother was the dean of arts at the Kent State University and a concert pianist, or that the family lived in Chatsworth and had built a sound studio in their basement, because they have not one but 2 musicians in the family. His younger sister Emily plays the oboe, and he just knocked our socks off. He did. And previously, he had just won an international competition for trumpet, and he was applying to every music conservatory in the United States and was accepted at all of them. And he is now a rising, I think, second year in Philadelphia. So it was really a wonderful opportunity to spotlight a Hudson High School kid, and that's what we're doing. So at least once or twice a year, we'll be bringing in talented students, and they're here. They really are. And you know, so we're really excited about that. Anything more you'd like to add, Alex, at this point?
Sure. I'd just like to close with telling you guys a little bit about how Music from the Western Reserve is funded and how we have all of these great opportunities. So this past concert season, we officialized the hiring of a grant writer. Her name is Kara Sia, and she is actively working on all sorts of different applicable grants for our organization. And in fact, one of the grants that we submitted was to you guys, the Rotary Club. So we hope that you'll consider our grant application. We had asked for $1,000 in support of one of our concerts for the next season. So be on the lookout for that, and please let us know if you have any questions. I also want to thank Marilyn and I want to thank Madeline. Our board members are very generous and help to make Music from the Western Reserve possible with concert sponsorships in addition to the dues from their board contributions as well. So Music from the Western Reserve is on the rise. We have lots of exciting things in the future. Thank you for giving me this opportunity this morning to speak with you all. And I hope to see you at one of our concerts. If you plan to attend Sunday, I would RSVP now because Marilyn said, you know, we have over 200. Now we have close to 300 in our RSVPs, and our church capacity is about 331 people. So we're going to be closing this down pretty soon. So I would definitely RSVP sooner rather than later. Thank you all for this time this morning. I look forward to seeing you. Thanks, Marilyn. Thanks, Madeline.
Sure. Well, we'll take it from here, Alex.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
The musician can go to 7 earlier than 7 is, well, maybe not actually what happens every day. So there we go. I want to tell you a little bit, I want to tell you just a little bit about how Alex sold this to the board. Alex, he has kind of a communications and marketing background, if you can't tell. And he said, essentially, grant writing is not in my wheelhouse. He said, but graphic design is. And he said, I noticed what you have on your budget for graphic design the last couple of years. And he said, I would suggest that we take that and then we hire someone who's professional at this. Caracia writes grants for many organizations throughout the entire state, and she's been very successful in doing so. The other thing that is really so touching is that some of the friends and the neighbors of the Rothman family continue to support us through the Akron Community Foundation. Now, Music from the Western Reserve does have a foundation as well. It's not as large as the Rotary Foundation, and it's not the largest foundation around, but we have one. And we have funds that are stored in Akron as well as here in Hudson, keeping that Hudson community relationship alive. So it's really something quite important. When Alex talks about collaboration, I've been really impressed with the relationships that he has. I think we all know that in business, a lot of what is successful is based on relationships that you have with other people. One of the things that happens with our relationship with Seas is we have advertising in their programs, they have advertising in ours. It's a reciprocal relationship. The other reason that this first concert is quite successful is because for the first time that we send out our postcard mailers, we sent it to over 1,500 households. Previously, we were sending to about 300, which is what we had in our mailing list. 1,500, why the jump? Because Apollo's Fire shared their mailing list with us. Okay, that's huge, absolutely huge. Why would they do that? Because Michael Frank is on the board as well. Okay, so it helps to have a strong board. I'm going to ask Madeline to take the microphone right now because Madeline is our newest board. I don't want her to tell us why. Why'd you do it, Madeline?
Marilyn and Ellie's are back. I'm gonna give it a try. I joined the music of Western Reeerve a year ago. Although I am not artistically talented as a musician, I always appreciated music. I grew up in an Italian family. My family was always playing records and music. So I love going to concerts. And thanks to our programming committee and my friends, Marilyn and Nancy Dodson, I was introduced to various artists and musicians, and then eventually to the Music of Western Reeerve. Nancy, who is the past president of the Music of Western Reeerve, along with Marilyn, invited me to join the board. I accepted, and I am glad that I did. The board, as Marilyn mentioned, currently has 9 members. They are very active members. It's an active board. And to be a board member, you must attend all board meetings personally or electronically, contribute personal and professional expertise to strategic and decision-making processes, understand the financial operations of the community of the music, and participate in fundraising and community outreach, attend concerts, and promote the organization in their neighborhood and community. The Crooker members are engaged, active, and knowledgeable and informed, but they are also old. What we need at this point, the board is actively looking to recruit younger members and also more diversity within the board. Among our supporters are Nancy Dodson, who is our past president, Bill Woodridge, who is also a board member, and Patrick Kerr, who is currently our treasurer, and Linda McDonald, a professor at Kent State University, and of course, as Marilyn mentioned, Dr. Michael Frank, who is involved in the community, especially very early on when the EMS was formed, and he was our medical director for the EMS. So we have a lot of very good members, and we will be looking for more members, and anybody who knows of anybody that's interested, we do have copies of requirements that me and Marilyn will make available. So thank you for your support.
Trying to think if there was anything that I overlooked. My notes were quite as organized as first. Okay, it all came together rather quickly last night. You're likely to see George Steiner at this concert. George was a former member of our club, and he comes religiously if he's around and available in town. He and Nora have been long supporters. I think you see from the lineup that it is a strictly classic concert series. We try to broaden it out. I can tell that the the chapel choir will not be strictly classical. It leans towards the classical side, but season tickets that we have are actually what we call flex tickets. And this year they are $120 per person. A flex ticket means that you're issued 6 tickets and you can use them for any arrangement that you want. So if, for example, you're into choral music, you can bring the rest of the church choir and use all tickets if you buy 2. And it doesn't matter how you use the ticket. It's a flex ticket. And, it really makes for a lot more flexibility for people. And there may be times when you're not in town, and rather than try to call us up and get money back, it's easier for us to just simply say, bring a friend. And it's a friendly audience. Our reception they're starting right about 6:15, the concert lasts about an hour. And so it's a good concert to bring a young person to, especially if they have an interest in one of the instruments that's being featured that day. Whenever we have a piano concert, we are bringing in a concert brand Steinway from the local Steinway dealership up there right next to Costco. So that is very often when we might invite a young person who has an interest in piano to be one of our performing artists. Does anybody have any questions for us at this point? We're trying to shake things up just a little bit. We've reached out in marketing. That's really in Alex's wheelhouse. He's done a really good job of promoting things. And in fact, there is something unusual that will happen at this concert. And I just have to share it real quickly while I'm still thinking about it. The local PBS station at noon is doing an interview at Christ Episcopal with our primary artist and Alex today. And they'll have a film crew there on Sunday as well, because we're going to do a feature about music from the Western Reeerve. I don't know how this all came about, but Alex is really quite excited about the opportunity. He also puts us out on Facebook and Instagram and has been quite successful in doing spot marketing that way. So Phil, you've got a question or a comment?
Just a comment, if I could, Marilyn. Thank you very much for presenting this today. The history of music of the Western Reeerve as it came out of Hudson, it really started in a very rich way. Because after leaving Stan Hewitt, they came to the Academy, and the first concert for held at the Academy. During the summer, the Academy was turned into an Institute of Music from Cleveland for stringed instruments. So you have this rich history of music. The only problem with the Academy was that at that time they didn't have an elevator. And so it made it difficult for older people to go upstairs, down those stairs. So when you guys moved over to the chapel, Christ Church, you moved into a beautiful venue for music of the Western Reeerve. The acoustics in that building are just amazing. I encourage people to come to it. I think you'll really enjoy it. But because of your history, consider thinking of bringing in back in the future some of the music professionals that were on from the Cleveland Institute of Music become really world performers. And I'm sure they would be love to come back to Hudson and perform. So I wish you well, and God love you for doing it. Thank you.
Well, a couple of years ago, we had an organization called the Callisto Quartet. And the cello player in that quartet is Hannah Moses, who is a Hudson graduate. The quartet was formed at CIM. And when they graduated, they were granted a fellowship at Yale. For the next 2 years, the Callisto Quartet performed at Yale. And it was during that time that they came back to Northeast Ohio. Hannah comes home often. The Callisto Quartet is now headquartered in Columbus, Ohio. And she is often a part of the music that Mark Lepidi puts together in St. Mary for what I call our Christmas, Easter, some of those really wonderful things. Her mother is really the person who coordinates all of that. but they're members of the same parent. So the community of Hudson is so blessed. When we think about it, there's something that's available through our high school. Not only the photography and the art and the art on the walls that our children do. I'm talking about the choirs that our elementary and middle school and high school kids are in. The musical productions that they put on. Last year, they won that award for the 80s talent that they did, as well as the orchestra and the marching band. Now, I remember when the marching band all wore the t-shirts that said, "How is good." They need to say good is good, because honestly, there are very, very talented musicians that are part of that organization. Last year, the winner of the Aurora Music contest was the Hudson kid. And I think he might not have even been in high school, but his teacher was Liz Gary, okay, who lives on the east side of town and provides the piano for the choirs at the high school. I mean, this town is embedded with talent. It is, and they appreciate this. The other thing that you'll notice when you come to one of our concerts is just how neighbor and fun that reception is. They don't come in, grab food and go home. They sit down and they have a conversation. And it's just love. It's also really nice to talk to the people who perform for us. Ask them the question, where'd you come from? When did you get started? Deborah Nagy, who's coming with Lady Tennessee's product of the public school system, first picked up her oboe in the 4th grade. And now she is known throughout the United States for her expertise. And she plays in many, many organizations besides right here in Northeast Ohio. Like I said initially, if you're a musician, any kind of artist, you gotta hustle. Okay, you gotta find your own gigs. Okay, because they don't often just present themselves and sit on your doorstep and beg you to come. You're creating relationships, and that's a lot of what Alex has done. There's a lot of this background that a lot of people don't know. During the summertime, Alex performs professionally with a comedian called Rotary Club. And they travel all over the United States. And I remember talking to him one time, and he was just gushing over the fact that he had just met Liza Minnelli. Okay, can you believe it? Okay. He also has been the musical director for several things at Kent State, including performances at Courthouse on some of the musicals that they've done. Last year when they did Annie, it was Alex in the pit. And they've now put up the screens out there so that you can see what's happening in the pit. And so it was so fun to watch him do his work. I mean, he is just flowing with enthusiasm. And every time you turn around, he's promoting us in a new and different way. So, a part of our success is absolutely due to what I think is hiring the right guy. And we did have a lot of people who applied for that position. We were really going to take it back. We were hoping we could get 2 or 3. We probably had at least 10. So that was very, very reassuring that, first of all, people felt it was worthwhile applying for. So there you go. Any other questions? I see that's coming up.
I just want to say my very first time I went to the music for Western Reeerve. It's a few years ago. You may remember the group. They were 3 trumpet players from the Cleveland Orchestra.
Yeah.
And I have to say, it felt as if angels had come to that concert hall, that church. It was incredibly beautiful. So that it's a place where you can go, it can move your soul, it can expand your horizons. So it is really a wonderful asset to our.
I took my grandson Brandon to one of the concerts. I needed help. I needed the door in the wintertime that people enter through sometimes sticks. And some of the older people have difficulty opening it. So his job was to open the door. And so anyway, here are Brandon and I, and the performer is a violinist. She's performing several things. And on the way home, I go, okay, Brandon, you play the violin. Tell me what you think. He goes, oh, Grandma, the Rosanna. I mean, to have him say that, and then the way that he said it, it was like, oh, yeah, maybe we got something here. Now he doesn't play violin anymore, but to tell you the truth, he was really very excited, and he's almost help out right now. You all know that. He was at the festival that we had in August, helping to, he took my slot. I was not in town, so Brandon came in and worked with you guys from 1 until 5. So, me,
Yeah, I just wanted to make a comment about a term that Alex used a lot and you used it a lot. And my son, who is an artist, uses it all the time. And it's the word collaborate. That competitive individualistic approach doesn't work for music. It just doesn't. And so I think if there are ways that we can facilitate that kind of collaboration, not just for the music and the arts, but for what we do, that might be a really cool thing.
and I would have to say that I really think that Alex is a master of adage. I think his Rolodex is pretty deep. He's got his fingers in an awful lot of things. And this is not the only music series that he runs. He's employed as a church musician for a church in East Cleveland, a Western Reeerve church. So on Sundays, he's up there providing music for their congregation. But they also have a series in which they split the house. Essentially, any ticket money that you receive, the artist gets half, the church gets half. So it's a fundraiser for the church. And that was an idea that he had. So, you know, he has that relationship with the artists that perform there. He can pick and choose who he thinks would be appropriate for our audience as well. But he has been wholehearted behind the idea of the young artists as I have been. I need to let you know that I've had 10 years of piano. I am known by no means a professional piano player by any means. But my first paying gig was $50 that I got for providing dinner music for the Angus Growers Association in Nebraska. All right, let's talk about where did this come from? I used to babysit for these folks.
I think you just opened up to do that answer for us here,
Yes, we offered to make this an event. If we had made it a main concert, we would have given you a discount.
Yeah.
Because we do offer discounts to some people. And if you're bringing a group, you can get a discount. So when music comes, they have a pretty strong core of supporters who travel with them. And we're offering a discount to them. We're also opening that particular concert because Joe Hensel, who is a member of the St. Mary Lamb group, or one of the ushers at our church, has approached me about inviting the people who belong to Lamb to attend. So we'll be offering a discount to them as well. Anything to give people the door, butts and seats. That's what we're looking for.
It was brought to my attention that there's a piano right over there.
And I don't have any music with me, I'm sorry, I can only scales, I can give you scales. Which is, yeah, I had nothing in my, actually, it was a way to make money in college too. I used to find that, you know, majors at my college wanted nothing to do with the local students, and local students were willing to pay me to help them out. So.
I think we have time for one more question. Does anybody else in the audience have a question? Marilyn or Madeline? I'll be Phil Donahue. I'll run out and put the microphone on play Phil Donahue. So remember how we just run right out the audience. Well, I guess I don't get to play Phil Donahue. So.
Well, thank you very much for your attention, and I hope to see you all on Sunday. I'll have good wines. I have several already bought. I've got low cap, so you'll have your choice. Here we go. Now I'm in there, so I should. Are you in? I'll let you pick the ticket.
Right, I come up just a minute. So thank you very much, for the presentation, and I want to, thank, Terry and Madeline here for, patience for this month, they did a long, maybe a round of applause for them. And, you know, I was thinking we're very fortunate to be in our community, art and culture, the music. It's something that really is to our soul, but it's like a language that cuts across all communities, all cultures, all times. So we're very fortunate to have music in Western Reeerve as well as the other cultural, events, here in our city. You know, it inspired us to put this together.
Really?
He's all right.
Sunday, how many people here are going? Pretty big crowd.
I heard you made a cap
One.
for the JV game.
Oh yeah, it was like there was a bad snap on the field goal. Kind of threw it up. Yeah.
About 300 people there that a lot of them might not know anything about Rotary. So while you're sitting there, first you get to know people sitting with you. They might ask a question about Rotary, and then you get out all the good things that you do with them. So again, thank you for that. Next month is going to be a new presentation month. It's going to be regarding history. Dave, did you step up to the speaker just as I met on the spot here? Can you tell us some wonderful things that we have to look forward to next this thing? I believe we have a very special speaker that will be coming to visit us.
Yeah, actually, we've got two speakers lined up. The first, well known to this club, Tom Speaks, will be speaking on the 15th of October. His topic will be unshakable courage, common traits, Nelson Mandela, Abraham Lincoln, and Marcus Aurelius. On the 22nd, we are going to be joined by Kristen McMahon, Executive Director of the Robert H. Jackson Center in Jamestown, New York. For those who don't know, Robert H. Jackson was Solicitor of the United States, Attorney General of the United States, Associate Justice of the U.S. Supreme Court, and the Chief U.S. Prosecutor of the Nuremberg trials. Wow, that's impressive. So, looking forward to that. We will also be having the warrant coming at the very end of the month to do a presentation to us. Like it's a 5-week month next month. So looking forward to that as well. Andy, come on up. I know we are going to be meeting in the dining hall next week. So I know we are going to do something fun during that meeting, but I'll turn the speaker over to Andy.
Yeah, thanks. Yes, so next week, we have something totally different planned over there. Okay, so next week, you, each and every single one of you is required, I just requested, it's required to wear a shirt that has writing on it. You cannot hop out and wear a worker shirt. But if you're like me and you have Mozart from Prague, fantastic. That's okay. But the reason for the shirt is to say, this is something I'm extremely proud of. This is something that I do. This is basically kind of describing me. And then we're all going to have to share that. And so I'm not going to wear my Mozart from Salzburg shirt because I got one of those too. That's where he was born. And so, you know, everybody's going to be at his house. But no, what it is a chance for you to turn around and have some shirt that has writing on whatever it is. And okay, whatever it says, that's what you're proud of, that's what talk about, as we need over there. And then, so that is the first of October. On the 8th of October, and again, I apologize, partially, Dave and I were together, and, you know, we wanted to do it the first, third, and the fifth, for having a senior here, and then the second and fourth being over there, or whatever. The issue didn't work out. So this month is going to be the first over there with the t-shirts. And then on the 8th, we're going to do a Rotary on the Road. And in particular, we are going to the AR workshop, which is right next to Acme, right there by the pharmacy there is. Okay, and we all are invited there to help to, they're gonna have some crafts, first of all, we're gonna talk about what they do and explain to us that we are also gonna be making a small craft, because of course it's the holiday season, the start of, Thanksgiving and Christmas, so we're making it small. Each of you will be making small something or other, and you got that lined up. Coffee and whatever's gonna be there ahead of time, but, again, our resolution, let's take the Rotary on the Road. So that's what you need to pay attention to. First, eplore, okay, with your t-shirt, that's very important to you. And number two, on the 8th, we're gonna be Rotary on the Road at the AR workshop right next to the app. Any questions? All right.
Thank you, Andy. Definitely gonna be an exciting October. I'm looking forward to it. So, also just as a reminder, since next week is the first Wednesday of the month, we will be having our club board meeting immediately after the standard. So just so that you're aware of that, because we have the meetings on the every month. So, with that, last night I had the pleasure of attending a meeting of our cluster group. If you remember, a couple of weeks ago, Gladys was here. He is our cluster leader. He's an assistant district governor for Rotary here in District 6630. So it was a very nice meeting of the residents. So you're aware of what our cluster did, prizes of. It's Cog Falls, Hudson, the Hudson Clock Tower, Northampton, Cuyahoga Valley, so Monroe Falls, and also a passport club. So it was very nice to get together with the other presidents. I did have the pleasure of meeting John Murphy, who is the president of the Clock Tower Rotary. I'm looking to get more involved, like Dave was saying, collaborating, more collaboration with our partner group here in town. He did so that they want to be involved with more of a they each because they do every year, I guess. Individual that ran that for them, that's left. Because we were kind of like trying to figure out how to get that involved. That's again, I think that will participate in the more best. That's something that's very important for our club, something we do every year. It was also asked that so we have a district like competition. They're really looking at more judges to participate in that particular day. I know it's a long day, but from what they said, we have more judges, have more breakouts, get more kids advanced to the final competition. So it really, gives children a little more opportunity to present their topic, their speeches, and really get some better chance to move forward. So that's not until April. I don't have the exact date limitation yet, but I would ask that we kind of take a look at our schedules when that comes out. To participate and to involved in the district as well. A couple of other things that we talked about. So as you know, there's like a rotation of cluster projects that go around year to year. This year it is going to be spearheaded by Northampton. Following year will be the Clock Tower. 27 needs to be technically they were beginning to be club, it's still a very new club that's just started. So this guy said they get that off the ground and that. All the balls will be moved up to the next line. So put 5 balls is 28-29. We have slotted for the 2029-2030 year for running the cluster project, and then Silver Falls also. So we had a little bit of time to think about what we want our cluster project to be. From the conversations that we had, it looks like Northampton is going to be focusing on doing something with a place called Valor House. I'm not sure if anybody's familiar with Valor House, but I believe they help wounded veterans. So that's probably going to be a cluster project this year. They were thinking about doing what's called free wheel therapy, which is for individuals. They purchase very expensive, very special bikes for individuals who want to go bike, but they can't because of, particular disabilities that prevent them from doing that. They were able to get their grant request put in time. That is on the docket all year. That's what we're kind of looking at. So just kind of give you a heads up of what we were looking at there. A couple other things that are going on tonight. There's going to be a thing called Peace Builders. I'm not overly familiar with that, but I believe that as a district got together to provide funds for a peace giving project. I'm not sure this is anything familiar with peace givers here in the group that can maybe speak to that a little bit more knowledgeably. Yeah. Well, I will try to come out on it. So I'm they just to participate in that, just send me an email for the nation to set register in Zoom also. I'll have more information regarding that in the near future. We have a activity or a membership summit to be October 25th. That's from 9 AM to 12:30. That's Saturday. It will be in the Cleveland area east. We're be discussing ways to help increase membership. So if anybody is interested in having that, will be please let me know. Get that going there. And then in November 16th, the Alcohols Rotary will be celebrating 100 years of existence. So they're going to have a celebration at I believe it was SYB It's called the Center now over at Stowe. It's across from where used to be rock meets. So we're looking at that area. So obviously they would love to have participation of the Rotary Club as well that help them celebrate their 100-year anniversary. So I'm just throwing that out there now. I will write it in that on behalf of our club. I think I'm back down to that point in Alabama or what, so I think I'm back on that. So I'm planning on doing that as well. But beyond that, do we have any other discussion items, anything that you want to bring up for the group? Announcements. Maybe you don't need with the actual total there.
Yeah, this is just to remind people that if you want to meet local candidates for November election, that there will be candidates meeting the middle school. 7 o'clock is the announced starting time on the 2nd of October, and whoever set that date did not know that that was the end of the Jewish holiday. So the league is apologizing all over the place for having done that. It was too late to change. That's so people need to come late, like they can still get here.
Thank you for providing that information. I'm sure that was it's always very good to be able to get it. Kind of seek your public officials and as well for offices, kind of get their take on some things that are very, very important to the community.
Speaking of a public official, China, on next Tuesday, the 30th of September, I'm having a forum with the chief of police, the fire chief, Dr. Doug Smith, who's a Hudson resident, is chief clinical officer of the health board of county, and it's to talk about what kind of training we have with dealing with mental health rights. If you all recall, in office, the shooting of an individual. We thought it would be good to have if you come talk about that, can understand what kind of training needs to do that.
Well, thanks for providing that. I think it's good to get together and be able to have a discussion about things like that. Discussion is the best way of learning and growing with each other, be able to understand. Sometimes we challenges are police officers, responders, after basic crisis. So.
That would be Tuesday.
Okay, so Tuesdays, Friday, the Tuesday, 7 o'clock, the Harlem, the community center. Okay, thank you for sharing that. Are there any other announcements? I'll let Patrick.
Shameless plug, but tomorrow night at our dining hall, we have our third annual whiskey and wine event. If you are interested in attending, I'd be happy to talk to you after the program.
Well, I'm very excited about the shameless plugs that do, whiskey and wine, so thank you for sharing that as well. All right, do we have any other announcements? All righty, so it is exactly 8:30, so I will conclude our. Oh, I keep forgetting this. Why do I keep forgetting Rotary Club? I'm so sorry. What can I say? I'm getting old. I can't even work this old. We want younger people. All right, here we go. You're good one.
Okay. 490-109.
Wait. All right, come on up, Jim. Oh, close enough, focus already. Rounding up and rounding down. All right, let me grab need a bigger podium. Payout is $10, we have a jackpot of 134. I hate to say this, but he was like one marble away from it, so very, very close, my friend. Wow. But unfortunately, we don't round down to marbles, so. All righty, am I forgetting anything else in my old age? Your money. I'm old. I'm old. All right, well, let me finish our meeting with our inspirational quote for the day. I really need to use your cooking. Okay, so this comes from a gentleman by the name of Jimmy Dean, who is an American singer, an actor, he was in a James Bond movie, if you remember correctly, Dinosaur Forever. And he is also an entrepreneur for flying breakfast sausages. So Jimmy Dean, I can't change the direction of the wind, but I can adjust my sails to always reach my destination. So with that, I